towards the end, I will take those. Understand this another point here. Now, actually, what we created yesterday, how we designed, that is the process how generally developers should know actually. Means how to host a site on server, how do we access, how do we use TypeScript and all of that. Right, so now to make the development process simplified, what you can do is to make the development process simplified, you can do one more thing. So IDE for IDE, you know, integrated development environment. Integrated development environment IDE for TypeScript. Later for Angular also we will use the same IDE. Integrated development environment IDE for TypeScript. So to you know that IDE provides a platform for developer to build, debug, test, and deploy from deploy project, right? Deploy project from one environment. You can do everything. A platform for developer to build, debug, test, and deploy application, you can simply say, right? And you can use various IDs. You can use various IDs. You can use Sublime. You can use Sublime. You can use WebStorm. We can use Visual Studio Code. You can use Visual Studio. So you can use even Eclipse also. So many you can use everywhere, right? So that means you can use all these IDs for building an application, right? For building application. So that is what I am going to tell Mr. Vishnu Bhagat, right? So you need to be very much patience and no hurry. Keep your excitement in control because that is what we are going to learn, and you are very much hurried into the concept and asking a question, right? So keep patience and no excitement much about the concept. You will understand everything clearly. Okay. I am typing IDs, you are typing a question about IDs, right? Get back to the questions, and towards the end I will see if you still have any problems. So the point is you can use various IDs, but generally what do we prefer? Always what do we prefer is two major things we always think when you are using an IDE. One is free open source and providing all the facilities that we need. Another one is TypeScript belongs to Microsoft. And if you have an IDE of Microsoft itself, then that will be better. Am I right? That is a general thing to understand. That means if TypeScript belongs to Microsoft and you are using their IDEs for developing, then they can provide best support than anybody else in the world. You have to agree with that because they know perfectly how to integrate it. They know perfectly how to handle the situations with TypeScript. So because those people developed it, so then they can provide you better support than anybody else. That is the reason why worldwide, across everywhere, majority, you can say 98%, you will see that people working on Angular and TypeScript, so they use Visual Studio Code, which is an lightweight open source cross-platform IDE for developing application. This belongs to Microsoft and TypeScript belongs to Microsoft. So these people will better help you than anybody else in the world. That's the reason better go with them. So, and it is an free open source, then you can go with that. You can use other editors also, no objection in that. So, but we are going to learn everything, even Angular and everything inside this Visual Studio Code only. So we will continue with this Visual Studio Code. Okay, right. That is what the point here. So how to download? So get Visual Studio and install from, you can get Visual Studio and install from its repository. So its repository is Visual Studio Code. Yeah, this is the official Visual Studio Code official location. Yeah, this is Visual Studio, and you it and it is for everybody, Mac or Linux or any other operating. You can go to other downloads, you will get your, it runs everywhere, it is an free, it is an open source, right? It will work everywhere, so you can download and install this according to your operating system, right? So it is a cross platform open source, so free, then you can download and use anywhere you want. So you can get it from here. So get Visual Studio Code, not Visual Studio, right? So Visual Studio is also IDE. There is another IDE called Visual Studio. That is not for you. So you can go with Visual Studio Code. That is enough. And all the development process I am showing on this, our Angular, Node.js, React, everything you can practice here. So even your PHP, JSP also can work here. For that, you need to download the plugins and use them. Initially, so for TypeScript only we will talk about, right? Later when we learn Angular, what we need, that I will tell you how to integrate and download the libraries and all. Initially, you download Visual Studio Code, so, and install on your PC. Now, once you downloaded Visual Studio Code, so the basic steps I will tell you. So how to open our project, how do we work with our project, we will see that. First step, few more things you need to do, I will tell. So this is the Visual Studio Code. After downloading the Visual Studio Code, you can see this is Visual Studio Code, and the home page looks like this. This is Visual Studio Code home page. Now, what you have to do is, after downloading Visual Studio Code, I will tell you few extensions, you install those extensions. So what you need to do is, so first open Visual Studio Code IDE. Then you have to install support for JavaScript. So install support for JavaScript. You can find in home screen customize panel. You can find in home screen customize panel. You see, this is home screen. In the home screen customize panel is there right side. So right side you will have a customize panel. In the customize panel you can observe there is an option, install support for JavaScript. You click on that. Already I have installed support for JavaScript, that is fine. You can install support for your Python, PHP, Azure, Docker, so many others are there, right? So here, so this is enough, right? Install support for JavaScript. That is the first thing. Okay. So why we need support for JavaScript? Because finally it transcompiles into JavaScript, then you need JavaScript support. So install support for JavaScript from here. Fine. After doing that, now what you have to do is go to extensions, go to extensions and install following extensions. Install following extensions. You go to extensions and install following extensions. What are the extensions to install? I will tell you. Extensions is nothing but left side. You can see in your Visual Studio Code left side, in the left panel, the black panel, you can see in the left panel, so you have so many options available here. You have to click on extensions. You click on extensions. You just click on extensions. Or so you have extensions. It will open the extensions. So you can use open extensions. That means you can use Control plus Shift plus X. It is shown there, right? Shift plus X. You can use this to open extensions. Control Shift X, it opens the extensions. You see, this is extensions menu. This is extensions menu. So you can click, it will display and hide. In the extensions, I will recommend some extensions, you download them. What are the extensions you need to download and use here is the extensions you need here. Initially, what extensions you need is you install. So number one, you search for, in the extensions you search for TSLint. You install TSLint extension. TSLint is an extension which helps you to identify the problems easily when you are writing TypeScript. TypeScript related rules and standards are provided by this TSLint. So if you are using TypeScript, it will provide an additional support to TypeScript so that you can easily handle the situation. That means you can easily solve the problems, right? So TypeScript TSLint important is yes, it is like sonar lint and all, right? It is TypeScript. This already I told you, like coding rules and standards we need to follow. That's the reason. So you have to install this TSLint, so that when you are working with TypeScript, it will help you in using TypeScript in a more better way. So without much writing, it will prompt you and you can easily handle that just by selecting the options and watching those problems dynamically while typing itself, right? You can manage everything like that. That's the reason for TypeScript better standards and help, you can install this TSLint. Second, you install live server. You install live server. What this live server will do is, this live server will install a server for you in the Visual Studio Code environment. Because already I showed you, we are using IIS local server. Sometimes you people may have a problem in that. That means you don't have an external server. Then give it to Visual Studio Code. It will take care. You install this live server. It will maintain it. It will maintain a development server, and in that it will host your projects, and it starts the projects on that live server, and you can simply test them. So on server, right? Always use this live server. for testing. Actually, for learning TypeScript, we don't need. Why? Because TypeScript related everything, interactions and output and everything we can manage. We can manage from the command line, console mode itself. Because we are learning language, so we will not directly use it in HTML now. We will first learn the language perfectly. Then in Angular, we use with integration of HTML. So as of now, even you don't have live server, no problem. But sometimes when we need to test it on HTML and see how it is working, then you need a live server. So better keep it ready. So keep a live server ready. What you need to do is, so first here in the extensions, you search TSLint. So you can see there is TSLint. This is TSLint. So this TSLint is installed already. I have installed this TSLint. And another one I asked you to download and install the plugin is live server. So you go with the another one, live server. And you can see this is live server. This live server helps you to easily run your HTML pages on the server. You better download this live server, right? You can download this live server, right? So how to use them, you are going to learn in various occasions. We will see them. First, we are keeping the environment ready with everything. Okay. Next, after installing live server and TSLint, you better install VS Code icons also. VS Code icons. VS Code icons important because generally it is just only visual concept actually. The problem is, suppose we are working with TypeScript files. Yesterday you see, so when I created a TypeScript file in our project, TypeScript online project, when we created a TypeScript file here, you can see the icons. JavaScript file icon is okay, good. TypeScript file, it is showing some media player icon, right? Some like audio video player icon, play. So that is little bit confusion for developers with these icons. Later you will get a problem with them. That's the reason better what you do is you install the icons in Visual Studio Code. You install those icons. Then what happens is, according to your extension, it will give a proper icon to you, so that a developer can immediately see the file and identify that, okay, it is HTML file, it is JavaScript file. Of course, you can see the extension also, but you know that. So clearly observing the extension is different. Visually watching the icon and telling is different. It is more easy. So better keep Visual Studio icons also ready, so that according to file extension, according to the name, automatically it will put some clean icons, so that you can easily understand files. That I will show you. You can get it VS Code icons. You can see VS Code icons. So VS Code icons. So this is VS Code icons. So that is the Visual Studio Code icons, VS Code icons. So VS Code icons, you can download that, VS Code icons. Okay, I will give the correct name so that you can immediately get it. This is VS Code icons. You install this also. Then according to file extension, it will give you good help. For example, see, suppose I will just show you a simple point here, right? I will, yeah, let's go into it. Later, I will show you the projects here. You can see according to the extension, it will give a good name. For example, see here. So here I am typing the file name. I am typing the file name sample. So sample.html. Then you can see HTML icon will come. And I am giving .css. CSS icon will come. right? .js JavaScript icon will come, right? Just it is reasonable. TS TypeScript will icon will come. It is easy for a developer to identify that. That's the reason better you get it, right? Better you get it. So that is only the part, right? That is Visual Studio icons. So you keep these initially, these are enough. These are enough. So later we need some more extensions when we are working with Angular and others. Those I will tell you when we start them. Initially, for working with TypeScript, actually TS-lint is enough. You can even get a live server and Visual Studio icons if necessary, right? Depending on the situation. So, but this is good initially. So you install support for JavaScript, then install these extensions here. Okay, fine. After doing this, next is open your project uh, in VS Code. Open your project in VS Code. You can see the project open. Actually, how you can open your project in the VS Code, what you have to do is, so file and open, and here choose your website physical path. You choose your website physical path. Yesterday I told you physical path. This is a TypeScript online project. That is the physical path. Right now I open it here. Go to file menu, open folder, and it is TypeScript online project. TypeScript online project. Select that folder. That folder will open here. You can see that folder and those files are present here. Files are present, and you saw that all our files we are maintaining in this code. We are maintaining in this code. So you can see left side. So this is extensions. This is extensions, and this first one is Explorer. Right, you can search for your files. So here in the search, you can search for your based on your content. Also, you can search. That means you type something. If that is word is present in any file, it will get you that file. That is search. Later, others you will learn. Initially, this is Explorer, and this is your project, TypeScript online project. And you can see here the code contains the code files welcome.js and welcome.ts. And if I open that welcome.ts, it will open that here. I open welcome index.html, index.html will come here. And important is I need to run this HTML file and see the output. Then you can simply, what you can do is right click in the HTML file and select open with live server. You have an option open with live server. You select the option open with live server. Then automatically it will simply open a browser and it starts your page and show. By default, it will use a certain port number because it is a server that installed, and index page is coming here by default. Earlier in previous session, what I showed you is you create a website, you create a host it on IIS, go there, create and write files by using Notepad and all, right? But now this will be easy, and this is what we will do every day. But I showed you the complete general process without Visual Studio Code also, how we can generally deal with the Notepad itself and work with that. That process I showed you. So what you can do is now open your project here, and what you have to do is, yesterday we created a file, then open index.html. Then what you need to do, right click in index.html. Then you have to select open in live server, open with the live server. That's what you have to do. So that's what we need to do. So then it will start the HTML page and show. Now how to compile our TypeScript, how to use the TypeScript files, it's very simple here. What we are doing is, suppose we want to do some modification or we want to create a TypeScript file. Suppose in the code, I am adding a new TypeScript file. How to add a new file? In the code folder, at the top you can see new file, new folder is there. Select new file and type here hello.ts TypeScript file. Directly you can create a TypeScript file. Okay, here temporarily I am just giving a message. Message is equal to, so hello from TypeScript. And this message I want to print document.write, so MSG. Okay, after writing I need to compile into JavaScript, transcompile into JavaScript. Then you can directly open an editor here. You can directly open your command prompt here. So what we have done here now is, so go to code folder yesterday we created. Go to code folder and add a new file, and that file is new file plus icon, new file, and the name is hello.ts. And in that new file I am adding some code. Okay, fine, I am adding this code in that new file. Fine, after that I have to compile this. To compile, what you can do is open terminal. So you can open terminal. Terminal is a tool provided by Visual Studio Code, which allows you to compile and run your TypeScript programs. How to run the TypeScript programs, I will tell you. So to compile and run the TypeScript programs, you can open the terminal from terminal menu. So new terminal, or you can use control plus backtick. That is actually backtick. Backtick is present on tilde symbol. Beside one key, you can find that backtick. So numeric number one key is present. Beside that, above the tab, you can see it. Okay, now open control backtick here. Then you can see a terminal will come. This is the terminal. In the terminal, you can see currently terminal, don't blindly run. First observe where your path is. Currently the path is in TypeScript folder, but our file is in code folder. Make sure that you change it into that folder. You know how to change the path, cd code. Okay, it will change into it. Or you can do one more thing. Simply right click on that particular folder and you can say that here open in terminal. Directly it will open that folder in terminal, right? However, you can change the directory. Now after changing, I need to compile this hello.ts. Then what we have to do here, write the command tsc, and here you use hello.ts, and it will compile it directly here. It will compile that directly here, and it will generate a JS file for you, compiled, and you see hello.js is added. Now you can link that hello.js to your index page. So that means JavaScript file is generated. So that means what you have to do is open terminal and compile. So TypeScript file hello.ts. That means in the terminal prompt, you have to use tsc hello.ts. And you know rest of the work what to do. it generates a JavaScript file, and that JavaScript file I need to link in index. Go to index page. In the index page, I will change this to hello.js, and I will save this. And once go to the live server, right click, open in live server. Already I opened in live server. Then go here, you can see hello from TypeScript, the message changed. Whatever modification you are doing, live server will keep refreshing that after the modification immediately. So this looks more simple than yesterday's approach. So you can try this approach because this speeds up your work. You can fastly handle all the tasks, identify the problems immediately and all. But remember, the first step I showed you that makes you perfectly understand about the complete flow, actually how it happens. But this is the basic simple thing that you can try every day. This is how we can practice our TypeScript. There is one more option. Every time you don't need to put it in a HTML because you are currently learning language. When you are currently learning language, you should not think about attractiveness. You should think about the concept and the topics that you are learning. And you make sure that those topics you learned perfectly. That's the reason we can directly run from command prompt and see the output of JavaScript files. But they should have proper design. I will tell you that how to handle that, because currently we haven't written any TypeScript logic, just JavaScript logic only we are writing in TypeScript and testing it, because we haven't started language of TypeScript yet. But this is the approach we are going to follow every day now, right? Now, important, sometimes I think majority times when you are practicing this, tomorrow many people will come with a complaint that, sir, in my terminal I am typing TSC and it is saying that TypeScript is not recognized. TypeScript is not recognized, command is not recognized, but TypeScript successfully installed and it is working in command prompt, but here it is not working. If you have that complaint, if you face that problem, how to solve that problem, I will tell you. Do that. That means if when you type TSC and file name and hit enter, it is showing error saying that TypeScript and this command is not recognized. Then do one thing. What you have to do is, this is the terminal window. In the terminal window, you see here, this is CMD. Here, there is an option, select default shell. In the terminal window, click that and select default shell. When you select default shell, at the top you can see it will ask what you want to use. Select your preferred terminal shell. It is using PowerShell, Windows PowerShell. It is using Git Bash. Git Bash is required. Git Bash you cannot use until or unless you have properly installed Git also. I will tell you later how to do that. And Windows PowerShell. Windows PowerShell is used for compiling and running Windows-based console programs. And general command prompt. Sometimes this PowerShell will not allow to execute the commands because of the restrictions, and some antivirus softwares will block execution. Generally that happens. If you have Windows Defender and antivirus softwares running in your PC, executable files, when you are trying to run from unknown locations, it will try to block them. It will not work. Then that's the reason what you do is select command prompt. Select command prompt as your preferred terminal shell. Select command prompt as terminal shell. After selecting, click on this new terminal button. Then it will open the terminal and it here run and see. Make sure that you change it into the same folder, code folder, where you kept your TypeScript file. Make sure that you change it into that folder, right? Then you can run TSC, it will work. So majority, because we have seen every time when we tell this, next day many people will come with a complaint, sir. First way working, second way not working, command it's saying not recognized. That is due to the problem in your PowerShell. That's the reason what you do is better select this command shell. Okay, what you have to do, so note here, I will tell a note simple here. So go to if terminal 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 is using PowerShell, right? PowerShell, and it is unable to execute TSC. Then go to terminal. Then what you have to do, go to terminal window and select option. What is the option? So the option you will see, select default shell. That means choose the option, select default shell. Select default shell. Okay. And after selecting the option, select default shell. So choose command prompt. So prompt. That means you can say cmd.exe as your terminal shell. Okay, that's what you have to do. Then click on new terminal icon. So new terminal will be plus, and in a new terminal try your TSC. Hope everyone is clear with this. That's what you have to do, because this is the regular problem complaint by the people who started practicing for the first time. That's the reason. So instead of complaining on that, you solve by yourself itself now, right? If problem comes, do this, then it will work, right? So this is the basic approach that we need to follow every day for working with TypeScript, right? So whenever you want terminal, you can open control, backtick, terminal will come, and you can compile and run, and you can practice everything here. Okay. Now, one more point is you don't need to test every time from HTML. You don't need to test every time from HTML. So because you are learning language, so keep concentrating on only language, not on output and not on examples, because this is not about examples. This is about learning the language which is needed for a technology. And you need to be very perfect in the language with all the skills. Then only you can work for Angular. That's the reason in Angular, you will prepare proper design output. So real world application we will achieve in Angular. So here, don't concentrate on examples and outputs. Presentation is colors, having colors. In HTML presenting is good or not. We don't concentrate that here. That we will take care in Angular, right? Here, you better always use TypeScript. As a language, you learn it. Then what to do is, always when you are designing TypeScript, make sure that in TypeScript, you don't use any DOM related functions. DOM related functions means, document object model, JavaScript, HTML, DOM manipulations, na? So DOM functions means alert, the get element by ID, document.write, don't use them. Always use console related functions. I will tell you how to do that. That means another important is your TypeScript from console mode, your TypeScript from console mode, how to handle it, right? So from console mode, right? Your TypeScript from console mode, practice practice, right, your TypeScript from console mode. Always practice from console mode. So that is good for understanding the language. Later we will prepare presentations. We should not concentrate on that HTML part. So how is, see, I will show you. I am going here and I am creating another new folder. Make sure that you are not creating a folder inside the existing folder until or unless it is necessary for you. Click, create a new folder outside, and here I am saying as TypeScript language. Okay, TypeScript language. Okay, in this TypeScript language, so then I will add a new file. Okay, the file name is welcome.ts. Okay, welcome.ts is there. Now here you write the logic, so in such a way that make sure that you are not using any DOM manipulations here. That means document element ID, so document.write, alert, like that don't use. Simply use console mode, like console, console.log, right? In JavaScript, console.log will print the output in the console. Console.log, here you type here, welcome to TypeScript. Okay, fine. Then after that, you can write any statements, console.log, hello world, something like this. Okay, after writing this, I need to compile, run and see. There is nothing to be watched on HTML, everything on console now. So what you do is open the terminal. In the terminal, make sure that you are in that particular folder. I will open that folder. I will open that file in terminal. That is the folder. You can see that will open in that terminal, TypeScript language. Okay, here what I will do is I will type TSC and TSC welcome.ts. Okay, and hit enter. You will know what will happen. A JavaScript file will be generated. After JavaScript file is generated, you can directly run JavaScript file from command prompt. To run JavaScript files from command prompt, you need a special compiler, that is Node compiler. Node uses actually a compiler V8, right? And Node, this is the Node compiler which can run your JavaScript files. Compile TypeScript and run the JavaScript. Node JavaScript, not TypeScript. Node is to run JavaScript files, not TypeScript. That means Node, what is your file name? Welcome.js. Node welcome.js, it will run the JavaScript file and it will show the output, and hit enter. The JavaScript file executed and you can see the output in the command prompt itself. This is how we practice every day, because every day keeping in HTML time waste. Why? Because you can make better of TypeScript with HTML in Angular, not here. It is wasting your time every day. So attaching to HTML page, watching on HTML page, that you will obviously do in your Angular. So don't worry about that. So here concentrate on only language. So see whether your functions are properly working. See your output is properly coming. So always use this command approach. And after compiling, JavaScript file will come. JavaScript file can be executed by using a Node compiler. Then it will give you the output and you can easily handle it. So what to do now? First, create a new TypeScript file. You create in a folder or somewhere, anything you want. So that is some welcome.ts. Okay. In that, I have written these two lines. Fine. Okay. Temporarily, right? After writing this, second is compile in terminal. So you have to use tsc welcome.ts. Then next step, run the JavaScript file. Run the JavaScript file. How do we run JavaScript file? Node welcome.js. Then you will see that output. That is how you have to follow every day. Create a TypeScript file, compile it, and see the output through the JavaScript file. All right, run the JavaScript file, you will get the output. This is the approach you need to follow every day. Right? Hope you are clear with this complete approach. Hope you are clear with this complete concept. Right? So once we are ready, then now we can start learning the language and working with the language. So this is the second thing you need to do today, right? So that means you try this approach today. Now, once you are perfect in this, now we are going to start our TypeScript language. That means now ready, you can start working with TypeScript. Till now you haven't learned any TypeScript, you just learned the setting up environment for that. Now it is ready. So we will learn the language, variables, data types, operators, statements, how to handle them, and everything we will discuss detailing, right? So then we can start working with this, right? Then that we will continue in tomorrow's session, right? So once our registration process is completed, we will spend more time on every concept, and that means one. Yes, Sujata.